Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Yesterday I had my Facebook Live and I made these two cards, and when I put the video onto YouTube a couple of people said that they couldn't hear it very well. So I'm going to remake the card and just show you how I made it and what you need. It's such a great layout that it's really worth doing again. So we're going to start this time with garden green, and I'm going to be using both the Plentiful Plants, I'm just using the dies from this, and the paper, which is called Bloom Where You're Planted. And you've seen me use this paper a few times over the last month. I absolutely love it. And it's a good job that there's a designer series paper sale on at the moment, because I'm going to be buying lots. I'm not going to use the sentiment from here though. It's not quite as big as I need. So I'm going to go back to using the Happiest of Birthdays and the It's Your Day sentiment. So let's get that one ready. And let's pop it on a block. There we go. Now my base card is going to be in the garden green. And I'm going to cut, I haven't got it pre-cut, so I'm going to score the whole card at 4 1/4 and make 2 card bases at the same time. So I'm just going to line it up at the 4 1/4, and then I'm simply going to turn it round to 5 1/2 and cut it, and that will give me two base cards. Okay, and while we've got the trimmer out, I'm going to cut the cardstock. And the cardstock, I need 3 pieces at 1 5/8 by 1 5/8. And I'm using the same colour as the base. I have a smaller piece already. So I'm just going to put it in the trimmer, and that's up to 1 1/2, and then 2 little score marks later, you get to 1 5/8. 1 1/2 obviously is 1 4/8. And each of these little lines is actually 1/16. So you need 2 of those little lines. So 1 1/2 and 2 more. I don't need that piece. And let's turn it around and cut these at 1 5/8 as well. Now, I really am sorry that some of you couldn't hear it. I don't know what it was. Some people can hear it perfectly, some can't. I changed the settings on the YouTube channel when I added it, but I just couldn't make it any louder. So it gives me a nice excuse to video again for you today. Okay, so now we need the designer series paper. That's going to go on the top. And there's lots of lovely papers in this set, but I've chosen one that I haven't actually used before. It's the little brick wall, and I need a piece that's 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. So I'm going to cut a whole strip at 1 1/2. That just makes it easier. So I've lined it up there at 1 1/2. And then I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to cut 3 little pieces. And then when I add it to the card, I want to make sure that it runs in the correct pattern. So I just have to remember which way I cut it and which piece was first and which was second. Otherwise it will look like a very badly built little brick wall. Okay, now I'm going to put these down carefully in order. And while I'm here, I'm going to cut a little piece for inside my card. And so I'm going to cut a piece at 5 1/4. Had to think then. Yep, 5 1/4. And I'm going to cut that right in half. So I'm going to cut it at 3/4 of an inch. And this will give me enough for 2 cards, or even a strip on the envelope. But I want that for the inside. And then that's all of the cutting done. Okay, so let's go to making our card. I'm going to need I'm just going to need my bone folder. I'm going to fold this over and just burnish it like that. And then I need 2 pieces of basic white at 5 1/4 by 4. and I always have lots of these cut. If I'm cutting one or two, I end up cutting a few because I know I'm going to use them. And the little strip that we cut of the brick wall, I'm going to pop just on the bottom there. Let's find our stamping seal. Thank you though to those of you who do watch my Facebook Live, either on my Facebook group, Crafts by the Bow, or on YouTube. A couple of people had said that they couldn't watch on Facebook or they didn't have Facebook, so would I put them onto YouTube, and I do try and put them there every week. So that way you are part of the conversation, but you don't miss out. Okay, then this one is going to go right inside. And I might even use another little piece of this on the back of my envelope flap just to decorate. Let's see if I've got an envelope that I can show you. So something like this. This is not the Plentiful Plants Designer Series paper, but I'll make a 2 1/4 inch piece, pop it on top of the envelope flap, just adhere it either with liquid glue or my stamping seal, and then cut round, and that just gives you sort of a coordinated look. Okay, let's go back to the front here. Now, I'm going to attach my little white piece on here after I've put all my decoration on, but that's where it's going to go. So to make these pieces fit, you simply just need, whoops, let's move that. You simply just need to attach each of the little pieces of Designer Series paper onto one of these garden green squares. And I like to use the same colour for the squares as I've used for the base card. It just coordinates nicely and sort of ties the whole thing together. I'm just checking that these are still in the right place. Yep. I would hate to have one upside down. There we go. Right. And then I'm going to pop my sentiment on just in case. I don't want to put these on, just in case I don't get my sentiment square or it's not quite how I want it and I have to turn the paper over. So I always like to do my sentiment first. And I'm using the garden green ink. And let's move those up a little bit and try and get this straight. It's a really nice sentiment, this one, because you don't have to use it, just for a birthday. It fits lots of little things. It could be for Mother's Day. It can be masculine. It can be feminine. It can be anything that you need it to be. Now, our 3 little pieces are going to go on here. And what I like to do is to try and get them lined up first. Now, I've made a lot of these cards already, so I basically know where they need to go, but I do like to use my ruler as well. And I'm just going to put it across so that I know it's level. And let's see, I think I might just have them a little bit higher. There we go. I think I might pop them there. Okay, and I just want them, I don't want them right at the top like this. I like a little gap at the top. So I'm just moving them along till it looks sort of okay. Yeah, I like that. And then I'm going to take the first one, I'm going to do the left-hand side one, and I'm just going to attach it with my stamping seal, but I'm not going to press it down really hard. I don't want to press it down yet. I'm just putting my ruler back. There we go. Let me check I've got that the right way. Yeah, I don't want to press it right down in case I have to move them. Now, with the stamping seal, if you just place it, it's easy to take off. If you use something like a tear and tape, then it's a bit more tricky to take off. Or if you press the stamping seal down straight away, it's tricky to take off. Next, I'm going to do the right-hand side one, because I find it's easier if I do the left and the right, and then the middle one sort of takes care of itself. Let's take this one out. You can also do this with the liquid glue, the multi-purpose glue, and that gives you a little bit of wriggle room too. Let me just have a look. Yep, that looks nice and straight to me. So now I'll press them on. But you know, if you do have it already stuck on and you find that it's not quite straight, another little tip is you can sometimes get just behind the card, look, because I haven't gone right to the edges, and you can put a little piece of dental floss or very fine twine. I've used fishing wire before, fishing, like the nylon. And if you just put it behind and gently move the twine or the floss down, it will bring that piece off without tearing the background. But it's easier just to line it up and not have to take it off. Okay, so that's the front of our card. I'm going to attach it. And you should have a really nice little border just all the way around. And then I'm going to use my bone folder and squash those pieces on, but from the back. There we go. Let's just do that one as well. And if you burnish this fold, it just means that the card will lay a little bit flatter and stand up nicer. Okay, so for the little image that's going to go on the left, I've used some of the plants. Let me just get that. I used these kind of ones, and let's find one with the little pots on. You can see which pots I like and which ones I use a lot. But the whole page of those is pots. Oh, I haven't even got a whole page left. I've only got pieces. So I used this terracotta pot just because it's a nice size and it matches the colour of the brick wall too. It's that cinnamon cider. So I've already pre-cut those. Now you can cut them with the dies. And here's the little pot and one of the sets of leaves. There are other leaves as well that cut out the plants. But they're just as easy to fussy cut, to be honest. So you can either use the dies if you've got them, or if you're only buying the designer series paper, you just fussy cut round with your scissors. And a few of my Facebook lives over the last couple of weeks, I haven't had the die cuts. I was in Ontario with my daughter and I didn't have the die machine with me, and she doesn't have one. So I just took the paper and I fussy cut it. Here are the two little bits. And when you fussy cut, you just leave a tiny little edge round. If you want to cut straight onto the pot, that's fine. I just like the look of the little edge and the little bit round the leaves as well. Okay, so our image is going to go over here. And I'm going to put this one like this just inside. Now, in the die set, there is also like a little macrame hanger. And it comes out like this. This is actually cut out in vellum. So what you could do is put the little macrame vellum hanger over the top, work out where this little tassel is going to go, and pop your plant in like this. And you could put a little twine bow on here as well. And I think that would look quite pretty. It looks just as pretty without. So I'm going to do this one without, and I might make another one later and pop this little macrame hanger on because I think that's nice and cute. Okay, and I'm going to pop these on just with dimensionals because I want them to sort of be freestanding and not look like a stamped image. I want it to look, you know, a little bit 3D. So I'm just going to pop two on there because it's only designer series paper, it's not card. So I think if I just popped one on, it wouldn't be quite as strong. I think that does look cute. Let me just, I'm second guessing myself now because I like that. Okay. And then the leaves the same. I'm going to pop dimensionals on the back. You can use the mini dimensionals for the smaller pieces if you have them, or just as easy is to use these little pieces on the edge, or even to cut a dimensional in half I'm going to use, let's see, I'm actually going to cut a dimensional in half. So all you do is literally just cut it, and then I'm going to pop them on the smaller pieces. Take the backings off. It's actually just as easy to take these backings off with a pokey tool or the take your pick. Okay. And there we are. That's our little card completed. If you wanted to add the vellum, it doesn't have to be vellum. You could cut this out with card or even with one of the designer series papers that has a more subtle pattern on the back. If you're attaching vellum, I like to use glue dots because sometimes you can see where adhesive is on the back of vellum, but this is so small that I think I would probably just put a couple of glue dots, one at the bottom and one at each side, and then that little twine bow there. So thank you for watching me today, and I do apologise for you not being able to see me or hear me properly yesterday for the Facebook Live that I uploaded. I hope this works better, and I hope you give the card a go. Thanks so much for joining me today. Bye bye. I'll see you soon.